Hey everyone, it's Kale from Scud Style. I'm sorry I haven't been making videos recently, but I want to start making more videos again. I've made a lot of life changes in the past few months, and I'm back in a good place to start providing more content for you guys. So today I want to talk a little bit about why I quit drinking alcohol and the benefits I've noticed for quitting alcohol, giving it up. Give up the drink, give up the booze. Um, so, first, me giving up drinking. I want to give you the quick version because I want to get kind of right to the information, and a lot of people probably, are less interested in the story as much as they are for the benefits here. So, short version is I got a concussion in 2013, and I really underestimated the effects of the concussion at the time, and I recovered from it. It was pretty brutal, actually. But once I started to feel pretty good, um, there was a weekend with a big annual party going on. I ended up seeing people I hadn't seen in a long time, and everyone was having a good time, and we ended up drinking a lot. And um, it wasn't the most I've ever drank or anything like that, but it affected me more than anything has ever affected me. And I didn't realize that it was because of the concussion. But anyway, it exacerbated all of the issues that I had had with the concussion: the memory loss, the amnesia, the absolute brain fog, the eyesight. My eyesight was getting worse and going because of the concussion. And it was terrifying. It was terrifying that those symptoms came back and that they even came back worse from alcohol. So I gave up alcohol for a while. I even made a bet later on to give up alcohol for a year, and did it. And then I would try little testers here and there every once in a while to see if it was still affecting me in such a drastic way. And even small amounts of alcohol were affecting me poorly, or they were affecting me very severely in that I was reacting very poorly to the alcohol. I, those same types of things. I'd be in brain fog for a few days and this and that. So I'd try a few of those tests every once in a while to see if it would ever get better. But all the while, all the benefits I was experiencing from not drinking became apparent that, hey, this is kind of the better way to go anyway. I don't really miss alcohol that much. Coupled on top of the fact that it makes me feel terrible every time I drink it, even if it's just a beer or two, no matter what, or a couple glasses of wine, or whatever it was. I wouldn't feel good doing it. And I learned a lot of things, and I realized several benefits from giving it up. And I want to just go into kind of the top three benefits that I've noticed. They're kind of broad, but they kind of encompass a lot of things. Number one, health. Health and drinking. I have done a ton of research, and there are a ton of studies or this and that that contradict one another. There's tons of information out there that's contradictory about alcohol, the effect it has on your body. I mean, the biological process is pretty well known. How it's removed, what it kind of does to physical reaction time, what it does to blood vessels, and how it lowers inhibitions and things like that. These things are not argued. What are argued are long-term studies of people who drink moderately for their whole lives versus binge drinkers versus people, is moderate drinking more healthy than abstaining from drinking completely? And that's kind of an argument that's still going on. My own personal belief, my experience hasn't been that long in years compared to these studies of people who have done them half their lives or longer, is that alcohol does more damage net than good. It might have some specific applications. It might help blood thin out and prevent clotting and this and that. But I still think overall the toxin that is entering your body is doing more harm than the potential benefit here or there. In certain applications, maybe blood clots if you're prone to them or something like that, or to protect cardiovascular stuff for the same type of reason, could outweigh the other stuff for you if you're at a specific risk for stuff like that. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm open-minded, but I am under the impression right now that alcohol does more harm than good. And for me specifically, I know it does more harm than good because of how I react to it. So your body can't process alcohol and digest things really at the same time. It's always going to prioritize getting the alcohol out of your system first, which is why people gain so much weight, which is why the thing of the beer belly. Part of it's because of the beer. A lot of people refute that, but hops is one of the most estrogenic plants on the planet. So man, you're drinking a triple hops brewed IPA, cool. And you're eating, at a gastropub with, some burgers on top of it and this and that, and you're pairing it with all this food. And so it's not only the calories and stuff in the beer, but it's also the nature of how it's going to affect your hormones when you're taking in such an estrogenic plant that's like concentrated estrogen when it's, more and more and more hops are being used and things like that in whether that's in a male body or a female body. Really, that amount of estrogen as opposed to progesterone or testosterone is really going to put you in a hormonal imbalance and whack, which is going to tend to lead to hormonal fat gain. On top of the fact that, you're taking in, if you are eating while you're drinking something like that, or even any beer or any alcohol at all, like I said, the body is going to process getting rid of the alcohol first, and it is really not going to prioritize the digestion because it's got to get rid of the toxins first. And so that leads to unhappy, ineffective digestion and bloating or inflammation of the intestines and things like that while that's going on, or even the stomach. So, health. I feel way better when I don't drink, sharper of mind, clearer, I just feel better. I feel lighter, I feel good, and I can still get into that state through meditation or, don't even need to get into deep meditation to kind of get into a state. It's pretty easy for me to match the energy of a party or a social group or this and that, and get into that fun state I used to be able to be in, but I used to be in through, riding the substance there, alcohol. And now I can kind of just match the energy, get all the good stuff, and maybe I'll make a later video about how I do that, because I think it's a really useful thing without the hangovers or the negative effects of actually putting the drug into your body and all the unavoidable consequences that come with that, just physically alone. The number 2 benefit I want to kind of get into is wealth. So we got health and wealth. And man, I was so shocked about how much money I saved when I quit drinking. It really adds up a lot. It's not just the direct cost of the alcohol you're buying, whether it's stuff at a liquor store for home drinking, or if you're going out and you're paying covers to listen to bands you don't want to listen to. You're paying for very expensive drinks and tipping every time on top of that. It's expensive. And then all the late night food that you go eat on top of it, which I was touching on kind of last point, that I ended up somehow eating so much more after I was drinking all night than if I had just not drank anything. I wouldn't have even been hungry. And they wouldn't have gotten the munchies. And maybe it's all that dancing. I don't know what it is, but I'd always want to eat more and not eat well too. So it's drinks plus food plus covers plus all this kind of stuff. And some of those costs still exist when you don't drink, but there are a lot of costs that come up, and it really adds up over time, especially since we aren't really, with our inhibitions lowered, we aren't really as responsible with our money when we're drinking as well. So that really does add up. I gave up drinking for a year, actually made a bet, and won the bet. So I got paid for the bet, but I also saved thousands of dollars that year from not drinking. Seems like a good financial choice. That, my friends, is fiscal responsibility. And number 3 is growth. So we got health, wealth, and growth. The amount of personal growth that I experienced since giving up drinking has been massive. Now, instead of relying on kind of a social lubricant and a crutch to be able to interact in certain instances with certain people, I was kind of pushing myself to okay, what's this kind of, okay, I feel nervous, or okay, I feel awkward, or okay, why is that? And to look at kind of the, um, just either meditatively or within myself, or, sometimes even clairvoyantly, but kind of look at the energy and be like, or sense it or feel it or just identify it and be like, why am I feeling this way? What is going on? And through that awareness is the first step towards growth. Being aware of those kinds of things helps me to grow and helps me to identify them so that I can work on them for myself. That's so much different than me being like, oh no, I'm just going to rip a few shots and I'm not going to be nervous anymore. Or, oh, I'm just going to chug a few beers with these guys over here and I'll make friends like nothing. Not saying that I did either of those things, by the way. Just a couple possible examples. And so it really helped me to view from different angles, different things that I had blocks on, different emotions that I wasn't validating or that I was suppressing or that I was, saying, oh, you're weak don't worry about that, or, oh, well, everyone feels that way. And just be like, okay, this and that. Why do I feel that way? And then what can I do? And it just helped me to learn to navigate socially so much more effectively and to be so much more comfortable in my skin as I am. And I am so happy that I did that because I've learned so much about myself and I've grown so much personally, socially. I've learned so many things about myself through this process. And so I'm very much grateful for it. And so those are a few, just 3 quick reasons, my short story. I hope that kind of makes sense to everyone. And I hope anyone considering giving up drinking, hey, give it a shot and work on yourself, and good luck.